What's up, guys? It's Seattle back at it, making a new video. This time I'm gonna be doing a video about usering, like usering versus the pass, and so it'll be two different segments: usering versus the pass and usering versus the run. I'm gonna bring up good and bad examples of my own play. I'm obviously not the best at this, but at usering, but it's something I think I'm decent at. And also in the future, I'm probably not going to keep doing a ton of these just because it was brought up to me that I should probably find some more sustainable series of videos. So I'm probably going to do some other things. Like I think my next one might be top 5 Madden 20 wish list. So yeah, let's hop right into this. Alright, so this first play, this is against my game in Pittsburgh this year, which is 2 games ago. And this play, I think, is a pretty good example of usering, which the end result doesn't show. The end result kind of isn't the greatest. It ends in a 75-yard touchdown, but it's still a good example of usering, and honestly kind of got cheesed by some Madden BS. So I'm gonna be using Earl, and so he's the safety right there, and as you can see, this is I'll go a little bit forward. Okay, so this was a slants play, and he audibled the receiver on the right to a streak, and Antonio Brown's coming off the slant. The slant wasn't open initially, so he didn't throw it immediately. Now I can obviously, this is cover 3, so I should have Earl's supposed to be playing the deep third, but there's no one attacking that, and Shaquille Griffin, my corner against Juju Smith-Schuster, is in a really good position. So the only thing I'm concerned about now is Antonio Brown, and right now he can't throw it to him because there's a linebacker there, but I'm already running to this open field on the right side because I know that that's where he's gonna want to get it to AB. So I'm already running there. So let's go a little bit forward. Alright, so at this point he couldn't throw it to AB, and my guy who's in the flat was covering the tight end, but he playmakered Jesse James up, right? And so so right here, I see that Jesse James is starting to run up, and I was aware of this, that he might playmaker him, or the CPU would just make a run up the sideline. So I start to go. I start trying to bait him a little bit. I actually think about it. I bait him and I start going towards the inside, and then I'm gonna break back out to Jesse James to make a play on the ball. But you can see this doesn't work because Earl Thomas runs out of stamina and becomes the speed of an offensive lineman, which is one of the dumbest things I've seen. It's gotta be fixed. I don't know how it hasn't been addressed yet. Just because they're out of stamina doesn't mean they need to have the equivalent of 60 speed. I should have picked this. There's no reason it should have went for a touchdown. So that was I say that's a good example of usering. It was, yeah, I think I should have gotten a pick, or at least a deflection there. I'm normally try to blame Madden as little as possible, like look at what my flaws are, but on that one I have to blame Madden's kind of idiocy there. So now we're gonna we'll fast forward to 40 minutes into the stream and this play, and this is what I'm gonna use as my example for a really great play of using. So right now he's in 5 wide, and I have a cornerback, or at least I have a DB on every one of his receivers except Antonio Brown in the slot right here. That's his top receiver. He's in the slot. No one's over him. I know where he wants to go, and I'm pretty damn certain that he's gonna just toss it as soon as he snaps the ball to AB right here. And I'm on Bobby Wagner right here in the middle. So I shift the linebackers to the left just to bait him that much more, so Bobby's even less close. But as soon as he snaps the ball, I'm running right there. So this is part of just like pre-play awareness, knowing what your opponent needs to do and knowing where you gotta go with your user. So he snaps the ball, I immediately run there. Bobby makes a great play. I was a little bit slow getting there. I should have just sprinted there immediately. I was lucky Bobby made a really great play. But yeah, he was a little bit salty about that one. He didn't think Bobby could get that, but Bobby's a freak. So the next example is right here, and this is an example, a little bit of a play that could have been better, but I think I still did decent on. I called it a meh example when I was looking over it. So I'm using TJ Green. Freeze. Okay, TJ Green, the safety right here, and it's cover 3 or cover 3 cloud or cover 3 or cover 6. So there's both these safeties are deep, and or both the safeties that were deep on the pre-play are going deep, and so this safety on the right, McDougal, should have come down or come over and covered the seam route. And so I'm on the safety on the left, and I see that I think that's Antonio Brown is even with my corner, which means he's open. So I definitely have to double him with my deep zone. That's where I was looking pre-play too, because against a team with such a good number 1 or just receivers in general, especially when I don't really have a lockdown corner right now, I tend to use the safety more against teams with really good receivers, and I'll try to take away big plays, because my defensive philosophy is try not to give up the big play. Stop the run and try not to give up the big play, and hopefully you'll be able to make a consecutive 3 good plays to get him off the field. So yeah, so Jesse James, their tight end, is running butt naked down the middle of the field now, because I think McDougal should have came over, but I guess his coverage isn't good enough, so he ends up getting a big play here. And my next example is a bad example of using. And this one wasn't that egregious, but because I had to cover 2 people on this play. So I'm Shaq Griffin right here, the linebacker on the right. And we're playing cover 4, and I'm the only, I believe I'm the only player covering the short middle. And you can see his play art right here. He's just running the verticals with the better sort of wheel routes. And then he's got the slant coming across. So I am definitely looking at the bunch at the beginning of the play, and I have to cover people who are coming. Or actually, wait, never mind. I played Tampa 2 right here because he was going hurry up. So I normally don't play cover 2 that much, but he caught me. I just called it. So I'm the linebacker, and I cover someone in the middle, short middle, and let it roll a little bit. So right here, I immediately see that the linebacker's running past me, but I know that that Bobby's getting depth, and he's going to cover him. So I turn my focus to the guy who's about to run up the seam free, Eckler, his running back. So I immediately go to cover him really fast, and then once I cover him, So I went to cover him to make sure he didn't throw it, but I know on this play that there's always a slant coming across right underneath it. So I start to peel off him, but I didn't peel off him fast enough. I should have peeled off him like 5 yards earlier, and I maybe would have been able to break up the pass to Switzer. And then the other thing is I didn't strafe, and I missed the hit stick. Key possession caught anyway, so hit stick him, but I didn't even touch him down. So that's the other thing you gotta always think about. After you allow the catch, you gotta strafe up, and you can't just be holding the boost button. You gotta make the tackle, make sure it doesn't turn into a bigger play than it needs to be. So now we're gonna go on to run defense, and I only have two examples for this one. My first good example, or just my only good example, is at 21. Alright, so I'm the safety McDougal right here, right? And I see that he's handing it off, right? And then his offensive line is blocking up my defensive line pretty damn good right here. None of them are getting off blocks. My defensive tackle has a chance to make a play right there, the one that's matched up with 73, but I can't count on him to shed that block. But at least two of my guys are taking on double teams right now, so that's good, because it leaves Bobby Wagner right there open to make a play. Earl Thomas on the right here is open to make a play, and I'm open to make a play. So I see three lanes right now. There's one where he cuts to the left of DeCastro, or 66, his offensive lineman right there. But then he'll meet Bobby. There's one in between 66 and 77, but that's where I am, and that's the gap I try to fill. And I don't. And then there's to the outside on the right, outside of 81, his tight end. But I see Earl Thomas is there. So trusting my players, I don't run to the outside. I don't run to the left of 66. I fill my gap, and I'm strafing this whole time because I don't want to just run past him. I've done that way too much, and that's where my bad example actually happens. I don't strafe up. So we can watch this play and see that he looks like he wanted to go outside, but Earl Thomas is there, and I was filling this gap, so he couldn't run through there, and he had to run right into Earl, who hit stick him and made him fumble. I didn't recover, which is unfortunate. and a little bit annoying. That happened a lot in that game. My last example. So this is he gets a very long run for a touchdown here, and it's all my fault. So I'm using Earl Thomas right here in the middle of the field. You can see his offensive line is getting a ton of push right now. Shaq Griffin, is coming off the backside, but he's not going to be able to make a play. Bobby has to go up against a pulling offensive lineman, so I have to be the last line of defense, and what I do is not good. You see, I take a really poor angle. First off, I can start running to the left. I should have ran to the right, because if he cuts to my left, hopefully Shaq can make a play. But I ran to the wrong side, so he cuts to the right, obviously. And this whole time I'm hitting boost and not strafing, which makes it way harder to make the tackle. And I just hit stick, and again, Shaq probably could have made a play, but I took his knees out, and he just falls over. And that was the end of that play. So, as far as run defense, you really have to remember to strafe as much as possible. It's not always the fastest way or the most efficient way to get to a player and make a tackle, make the play, make a flashy play behind the line, hit stick them, whatever. But I guarantee you'll give up less, or you'll allow more big plays by not strafing than you'll make by just sprinting at them and hit sticking them. So that's all I got for you guys. I hope you enjoyed that. Let me know if you found that useful for your own usering skills, and I'll be back with another video soon. See ya.